Hello, today's lesson is looking for a pattern. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to complete number patterns, finish missing numbers, and using mathematical operations in solving the pattern. For our first example, we're going to complete the number patterns. We have 4 different patterns. I'm going to walk you through each one. In letter A, we are going to look for the pattern in 1, 3, 5, and 7 to find the 2 missing numbers after it. This will give us our whole number pattern. So finding the pattern will give you the answers for the missing numbers being asked. To look for the pattern, let's see what is in common. It looks like you have to add 2 to our last number to get our next number. So 1 plus 2 would give us 3, and 3 plus 2 would give us 5, and 5 plus 2 would give us 7, and 7 plus 2 would give us 9, and 9 plus 2 would give us 11, and so on and so forth. In letter B, it has a different number pattern to A. So in 2, 3, 5, and 8 in our missing numbers, we need to find the pattern. From 2 going to 3, we are adding 1. From 3 going to 5, we are adding 2. And 5 going to 8, we are adding 3. So in our pattern that we already have here, it looks like it is increasing. So 8 going to 12 would be 4, and then 12 going to 17, we would add 5. In our next problem, letter C, would be using an example of using different mathematical operations. Looking at the number pattern 1, 4, 9, and 16, and then next 2 missing numbers, 1 would be using multiples of 1, and 4 would be using multiples of 2, 9 would be using multiples of 3, and 16 would be using multiples of 4. So our next missing numbers, we would be using multiples of 5 and multiples of 6. So 5 times 5 would be 25, and 6 times 6 would be 36. And continuing this number pattern, we would be using 7 times 7 to get 49. In letter D, it is using 2 mathematical operations. So our number pattern is 2, 5, 11, 23, and our 2 missing numbers. So to find our second term, we would use our first term, 2, and do 2 times 2 plus 1 to give us 5. And then we would use 5 to get us our third term. So 5 times 2 plus 1 would be 11. And our third term to get our fourth term, 11 times 2 plus 1 would equal 23. And 23 times 2 plus 1 would equal 47. So that is our fifth term. So we will use our fifth term for our sixth term to get 47 times 2 plus 1 to get us 95. In example 2, it says, look at each pattern carefully and find the missing number. In the first diagram, using 2 mathematical operations, which are addition and subtraction, we would do 4 plus 5, which equals 9, minus 2 would give us our middle number 7. Let's do it again on the next diagram. 3 plus 6 equals 9, minus 8 would give us our middle number 1. In our next diagram, it shows that our middle number is missing. So we would do 4 plus 7, which would equal 11, minus 3 would give us 8. In example 3, it says to look at each number pattern and find the unknown numbers. Example 3 will be similar to example 2 because there are 2 mathematical operations which are addition and subtraction. Let's get started on our first diagram. We would first go counterclockwise and go 12 plus 3, which equals 15, minus 5 would give us 10. In our next diagram, we would do the same thing. 8 plus 3 would give us 11, minus 5, which gives us 6. In our next diagram, A is missing, so we would do 14 plus 4, which gives us 18, minus 6, and gives us 12. In our last diagram, B is missing, so we would do the same thing and do 16 plus 2, but this time we would subtract 8, and B would be 10.